What is up, you guys? This week we're talking about Spider-Man Life Story by Zdarsky and Mark Bagely. Let's get into it. And first off, holy hell, what a story this is. This is so amazing, so beautiful. This is so emotionally impactful. Oop, geez. Definitely what I would consider some of Zdarsky's best work. So, Spider-Man Life Story was a mini-series published by Marvel that started in March of 2019 and ended in August of that same year. This trade that I'm holding in my hands came out in October of 2019. There was also an annual for this that came out for some reason in like 2021. So this does not contain that. I haven't read that annual, so I can't comment on the quality of this. But I'm so freaking glad that I picked this up and read it. It's just, oh my God, it's so good. Spider-Man Life Story kind of follows this almost what-if-esque story that follows Peter from his college years in the 60s up until his death in the 2010s, and it's kind of telling a what-if Peter Parker had aged naturally and concurrently with his sort of release date and his publication history throughout the decades. This is also sort of like a greatest hits of Spider-Man's most iconic stories. It kind of shows like a lot of those stories that Spider-Man is known for. Like one issue follows Kraven's Last Hunt. Then after that, they do Clone Saga. They even do Superior Spider-Man at some point. They do Morlun at one point, and they even do Secret Wars, which is really impressive. They do like a lot of different Spider-Man stuff here really well and weave it all into one cohesive story, and it's really impressive. This is also one of the last books I've read in a minute that has genuinely had me tearing up towards the end. Oh my God, this ending is so amazing. And I can't understate just how emotional this story is. You see Peter, as he gets older, start to lose all the people around him. You see him visit Flash's grave. You see what happens to Gwen, how he sort of loses MJ and then goes back to MJ at a certain point, how he almost loses his kids. It's so emotionally impactful from start to finish. It just really hits, and it does not stop. Oh my God, I can't even say it. It does not stop hitting. It's so good. Zdarsky also handles Peter's supporting cast really well in this book because what's Spider-Man without his side characters? You see Gwen Stacy and Ben Reilly in the Clone Saga. You see Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus, kind of like redeem himself and then fall back from grace and then redeem himself again at the end of the book, which was amazing. Miles was good at the end. His two kids are really interesting. MJ is characterized really well in this. It's just so good from start to finish. I will go on and on about how amazing this book is. And it's also written really well how you get to see Peter sort of age with these problems he's experiencing. In issue 1, you see him as a college student struggling with his overbearing sense of responsibility and whether he has a moral obligation to go fight in Vietnam. And Flash is already enlisting, which is a huge kind of character moment for him. And then we jump towards the 70s where we get the Clone Saga, and he finds out that his life may or may not kind of be his own, and the moral implications of Ben Reilly's existence. And a lot of interesting stuff happens with Gwen in this issue that I won't spoil because it's probably one of the most emotionally impactful moments of the book. Then in the 3rd issue, if I can flip to it, yeah, right here, we see it takes place in the 80s. MJ is pregnant at this point with twins. Peter's been missing for weeks because he's been on Battleworld fighting the Secret Wars. This is the same issue that we get Kraven's Last Hunt. I'm impressed they were able to compress Kraven's Last Hunt into one issue here. It obviously doesn't compare to the original story, but it's just technically impressive that they were able to do that. Then when we jump to the 90s here, we get, I'm trying to remember, what was this issue about? I think it's just, it's Doc Ock's return, and sort of a continuation of Clone Saga after Aunt May dies and Dr. Octopus kind of like falls back into being a villain again. And then at the end of this issue, we find out, Peter finds out, quote unquote, that he's actually been the clone, and he gives his life back to Ben Reilly, but he does some testing, finds out that he's been the original, and kind of just lets Ben believe that it's a lot of stuff going on, and it's kind of not super easy to follow like the original Clone Saga story, but it's written pretty well if you actually read it. I'm just not super great at explaining things clearly. Then when we get to issue 5, I want to say, we get to the 2000s. This is when Morlun invades. Peter's like in his 50s at this point with his two twins. The Civil War, the superhero Civil War is already going on at this point between Tony and Steve, and we see Peter kind of reacting to that, as well as having to deal with Morlun and raising his family at this point. And then we get to what I think is hands down the best issue in the book, the 2010s. This, oh my God, I was laying in my room, in my bed, reading that final issue, and I'm at a loss for words. It's genuinely the first time in a long time I have almost started genuinely crying over a book. It is so good. Overall, I give this 5 Ben Reilly clones out of 5. This is actually probably, I say this every single time I I read an emotional book. I said this about Daredevil Yellow. I said this about The Walking Dead. But this is one of the most emotional books I have ever read. Easily one of Chip Zdarsky's best books of all time, hands down. And this is, I'm just glazing it. I'm just gonna be straight up. I'm glazing the hell out of this book. It's so good, and I recommend everyone read this. Whether you're a seasoned, longtime Spider-Man fan, whether you're a casual fan like myself, or even I would recommend this as your first Spider-Man title to newer readers if you're just trying to get interested in the character. Now, there are other places to start, and I understand that a lot of people who have read this don't necessarily agree with that. However, I really think this is one of the best places to start. This, and then, probably Spider-Man Blue, which I understand are the two most popular options, but they're popular for a reason, damn it. The one thing that I kind of don't really, really love about this book, and I'm not saying I dislike it, it's just the one thing I don't love, is the artwork. Mark Bagley's art on this is just kind of generic, and I'm not really a super huge fan of it. It's just not really, none of this is really super memorable to me at any point. Like, it's not bad. He's still incredibly talented, and it's still good art. It's just really safe. Like, it doesn't really, what's the word? It doesn't complement the story in any real capacity. It's just fine. He's a talented artist. I like his work on other books, but this is just kind of okay. I don't know who else I would have put on this book, but I don't know. I'm just being nitpicky. It's like the only minor issue that I have with this book. Otherwise, I genuinely have no problem with this run at all. This is probably one of my favorite miniseries that I've ever read. I'm really, really glad I picked this up. I've been meaning to read this for years, and I cannot recommend this enough to anyone who has even, again, like I said earlier, whether you're a seasoned Spider-Man fan, a casual fan, or just someone who's looking to get interested in the character, this is perfect for literally everyone. That's all I've got for this week, guys. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. Let me know what you want to see next week, and yeah, I'll see you next time.
Also, go follow me on my other socials.